Hi guys, Dr. Axe here, and I want to go over the lab script that I use. And you can take this lab script to your doctor and you can highlight and circle and say, hey, here's the things that I want. Um, this lab script you could take, there is a signature on here. You could take this to your lab, whether it's LabCorp or Quest, and have them do the panel. Just make sure you have a portal where you can access those results. Because if they send them to me and I'm not your doctor, you're going to have a hard time getting those results. But you can take this to your primary care or a doctor you trust to get some of these results ran. A lot of people ask, normally these tests are covered by insurance. So you can call and ask your insurance whether it's covered, but you normally get put in a circle and pinballed between the lab, and it's very hard to get an answer. But I found even with high deductibles, normally these panels are covered. When you go to the lab, the best way is go to the lab with the script and give them your insurance. And normally if there's going to be a large amount that you owe, they'll tell you right there at the lab. That's the best way to know, really. But you can take this to any LabCorp or Quest, which are national. So let me go over the different labs that are on here. And again, you can take this script and circle the ones you want. You can cross out the ones that you don't need. And so I'm going to go over all of them and you can kind of make that decision. And I recommend once you get your results back to re-watch this video so you know what each number means. We're going to go over all of that. So this is a good video to hold on to. So the first one, free T3, free T4, reverse T3, thyroid antibodies, all of that. In the section before this, I go over what those ranges should be and what they do. So this is your full thyroid panel. Iodine is great too, because if you're on the middle or low end of iodine, you do want to get that iodine up. So again, you have your full thyroid panel right here. Most doctors just TSH and T4. This is the full panel, everything highlighted, T3 all the way through iodine. Vitamin markers, you're getting fairly inaccurate readings on regular lab work. So I don't run these very much, but sometimes vitamin C you can get a reading on, vitamin D you can get a reading on. So those are two I like to pick. All right, now let's look at the hormones. Progesterone, if you're having your cycles, you want to test between the 19th and the 21st day of your cycle for females, okay? DHEA sulfate is a good one. That being low is a cause of adrenal issues. So there's going to be a huge range of DHEA sulfate, but you want that to be around 150 to 200. So a lot of times it'll say 50 and it's normal, but 150 to 200 is ideal. That will help with your adrenals. That will help with your testosterone levels, your estrogen levels. So that's really important to adrenals and your hormones. DHT, dihydrotestosterone. That's a little bit more in depth. You don't necessarily need to order that one, but that's just another testosterone reading. Your estrogens, looking at E1, E2, E3. Testosterone total, free testosterone. Again, that's just more in depth looking at those hormones. And again, when you're looking at the lab ranges in here, there's a huge range, but normally you want to be in the middle. Okay, so if you're in the low end of the lab range, that's not good, right? You want to be more somewhere in that middle. So testosterone might say 200 to 1,000, but you don't want to be 200 or 1,000. You want to be more in the middle, like 600, 700, etc. Cortisol in the morning. If you have really bad adrenal fatigue, your cortisol won't come up high enough. It should be between 10 and 15 or 10 and 18, depending on who you ask. So that's for your cortisol in the morning before 9 a.m. Here's some markers for celiac, if you're wondering if you're gluten intolerant. Ferritin is your storage of iron. How much ferritin do you have in your reserves to make iron? And most people with thyroid issues find that they do best if they're above 50 on their ferritin. Okay, and if you're not supplementing with some iron or some ferritin, Ferroshell, if you go to my e-store for those supplements, you can actually get Ferroshell, and that can help bring that up. Zinc is an important mineral, so testing that levels in your RBC, red blood cells. Okay. Now this bottom part, fibrinogen and homocysteine and histamine, right in here, these three markers are all inflammatory markers. Fibrinogen is just a general inflammation marker. Histamine, right, if you're having allergies to things. You could be reacting to mold. It means your immune system's reacting to some type of pathogen or allergen and increasing your histamines. So if that's high, taking Hist-Ease, which is on the e-store as well, or doing a low histamine diet, which is also on Thyroid University, there's a low histamine diet, that can help with that. Homocysteine is normally a B vitamin deficiency. Getting dark leafy green vegetables is going to help because it has B vitamins and zinc in it. But you can also do we call it liposomal B supreme. I think it's section 2 on nutritional deficiencies. That's one of my top 5. So homocysteine is an inflammation normally from B vitamin deficiency. But there's also a product called homocysteine supreme on the e-store you can search if that's high. C4A level is an autoimmune marker against mold. So if you think, hey, I'm having autoimmune issues and I think I'm being exposed to mold, do the C4A test. Okay, let's keep going up here. Now let's take a look at iron. Again, just making sure those are kind of in the middle range or not too close to low. High sensitivity CRP, cardiovascular inflammatory marker. So again, it doesn't tell us where the inflammation is coming from. It just tells us that there's high inflammation. And now as you do protocols, you work on your gut, you work on nutrition, you work on all these things, you retest it, and you'll see, oh my gosh, that's working. That's making me better. Or, inflammation's still high. Maybe I need to take a different route. So it's just a good marker to have. The next one I like to test for is MTHFR, genetic mutation. That means you don't methylate B vitamins properly. All you need to know is if that comes up in the red or positive in any way, you need to take the liposomal B supreme, because that's a liquid that goes under your tongue that bypasses the gut, and therefore you can override that MTHFR gene mutation. Lipoprotein A is the particle size of your cholesterol. So that tells you, hey, maybe you have high cholesterol, but if your particle size is within normal range, it's probably not causing any heart disease or atherosclerosis because your particle size is good. So just another detailed look at what your cholesterol actually means or is doing. And then these CBC, CMP, lipid screen, those are just, your doctor always runs that every time. It's just a normal routine screening. And below are some diagnostic codes to put on the script just to make sure that they get covered by insurance. So again, these are some of the lab tests that I like to run that are normally covered by insurance, right? If someone doesn't have insurance, I do some more in-depth testing. But if you're just looking to get what's covered and get as much out of your insurance as you can, this is the script that I like to use. And again, you don't have to run all of these. You can take these to your doctor and say, hey, I want this full thyroid panel right here. Or hey, I think I have mold. I want this tested. Or hey, I feel like I have a lot of inflammation. Can I do these inflammatory markers, right? So you can pick and choose what you think your problem is. And also refer back to that assessment questionnaire that you filled out. There's a hormone section. There's a thyroid section. Right? And so you can pick, the FAQ can help you identify what sections are most important for you. So again, if you have insurance, this is a good script to take to your doctor or even take directly to a laboratory if you need to, right? You just have to put your name and date of birth. Just make sure you have access through that lab for your results if I'm not your doctor. I hope that helps describe the blood panels that I run as a functional medicine doctor and how they can help you in that thyroid, right? Everything's connected. Deficiencies, inflammation, thyroid, hormones, all of it's connected, and getting all of it balanced and getting all of it worked on is extremely important to autoimmune disease, thyroid, just feeling better as a whole. And I hope that helps, guys. Thanks.